Hey everyone, welcome back to FedBiz Exchange. I'm Michelle Brown, your coach and your mentor. And today I have an update for you regarding the $12 billion stimulus for minority small businesses. Over the weekend, you've probably heard Donald Trump signed the $900 billion stimulus for the country, which includes the $12 billion stimulus for minority small businesses. I'm offering free training for you guys to learn how to submit your applications to get this money on January 6th. So click on the link below in the comment section to sign up because seating is limited, and let's get into the details. So here's the deal. The $900 billion relief package was signed a couple of nights ago. $284 billion has been carved out of this $900 billion package for all small businesses. $12 billion of those dollars have been carved out of the $284 billion for minority-owned small businesses. And let me just say this. We all know what happened before with the first stimulus. The large companies, mid-sized companies, they all sucked up the money. Minority-owned businesses and women were left out. Please don't let this happen to you this time, or let that happen to you this time. You need to go and get this money, no matter what your situation is. I know many in our communities all over the country are next to closing their doors. They're one step away from closing their doors, but don't give up. You need to reinvent your business. That's a whole nother conversation, but you need to come to this training that I'm holding live next week. Seating is limited. I'm probably only going to do this once. So if you can be there on January 6th, you need to be there so that you can learn how to apply for this money. There are two ways and two packages that you could apply for. One is the $12 billion carve-out money for small businesses as it relates to revenue. The other has to do with getting a PPP loan, but we'll talk about that. Okay, I'll go into the details. So make sure you sign up. Click in the comment section to get your name and to get your name on the list and hold your seat. Next, there are two ways you need to think about when it comes to getting this money. There are two ways you could qualify. And to be honest with you, assume you're going to qualify. This is not a difficult process. Now, this first way is going to be the easiest way and the fastest way, and you need to go for this economic relief disaster loan because it's directly with the government. It's more like a grant, and you need to apply for it. I'll show you how to apply for it right online, all the steps, what's going to happen. And that's the fastest way for you to get some money, okay? The first way. This program is based on loss of revenue. We've all lost revenue over the past 6 months. Every small business has, with the exception of companies that have to do with medical devices and medical services and things like that. But for the most part, most of the businesses, especially small businesses under $40 million, have lost income and revenue for their businesses. So that's a no given. So this is one of the criteria. Have you lost revenue? The answer is yes, you need to apply. I don't care if you made $5,000 because you just started your business last year, but you can't make $5,000 this year because COVID hit and it affected everything. Okay, so you need to apply for this economic injury disaster loan. That's what I'm going to show you how to do. And then the fact that you're applying directly to the government is a good thing. You can get up to 6 months of working capital. You need to ask for as much as you can handle or as much as you need. Remember, they're going to go easy on you about repayment. This is a pandemic, so this is relief money. So, don't get more than you need, but the question is, how much do you need? Especially if you were close to closing your doors. And don't worry about, will I qualify? Assume you are going to qualify. They're not turning very many people down because this is not your fault. So also keep in mind that the loan will be deferred. They're going to allow everybody at least a year to get back on their feet before they start asking for people to repay this money, no matter how large or how small. Okay, we'll talk about the amounts you can get. You can get a decent chunk of change, but it depends on the type of business you're in. If you can get $25,000, but you have a business that you have high overhead and you have a lot of other issues you have as an employee yourself and you have one other person, that's not a lot of money, especially for a business. If you made $1 million in your first year, but you can only get up to $200,000 through this economic injury loan, that's not a lot of money. What if you were able to make in profit $500,000 your first year, but now all of that is gone? So it's all relative, but I still want you to get something because that may help you to reorganize, that may help you to get a new start, that will help you to do a lot of things. So you need to do it. The only criteria is loss of revenue. The second way for you to get stimulus money is through the Paycheck Protection Program, which is the popular PPP program, which is where a lot of the businesses sucked up all the money, a lot of the larger businesses. There was no criteria, no one was watching how this money was being distributed. So there was no conscience for these large companies that did not need this money, nothing to stop them from taking the money even though they didn't need it. This is why you probably heard about some companies giving the money back, because again, it was all sucked up from minority-owned businesses and women-owned businesses that needed this money. So you should go for both if you feel that you can qualify for both criteria. And I'll go over that in training next week. And if I did not mention it, let me say this. You could actually qualify for both of these, the economic injury program and this paycheck protection program. So let me just tell you a couple of things about that. This portion of the stimulus, the Paycheck Protection Program, is to help you keep employees. The government needs small businesses to create jobs. We're the only ones that create jobs. These large companies, they do not really create jobs, unless you're Amazon, of course. They're the only ones that seem to be using their brains to put people to work, regardless as to whether or not you like the type of work that it is. They're the only ones right now. And then you have the gig economy, the Ubers and the Lyfts and the delivery meal services, stuff like that. But other than that, we are the only ones that are creating jobs. And the gig economy is not really a job. If you think about it, it's something that people do on the side. So you need to keep this in mind. So even if you are a business with 2 employees, you need to go for this. Ask for what is there. Ask for what you could qualify for. So it's to help you keep employees. And you are an employee too, by the way. They may look at you as a sole proprietor and give you a different amount, but ask for it anyway. All they can say is yes. And so what if they say no? You have 2 ways to apply. You should apply for both. You can also realize that you need to get ready for the training next week. But when we go through the training, I will talk to you about the documents they may ask you for. Okay? I'll have a list of those documents, but you could apply for the first way, get that moving, and then get your documents ready for this PPP money if you need to. Okay? If you can do both, do both. But I'll help you get ready. I will tell you what you need. Now, this second way does involve lenders, which I hate that they involve lenders. I don't see why the government can't do this directly themselves, but I'm in government contracting and I know that the government never does anything themselves. They hire someone to do these things. So they're working with the lenders. The wonderful thing is for minorities with this $12 billion, they have decided to not only carve out the $12 billion for minorities, but also to put the money in our communities, community banks, which would be Black-owned banks, which would be other types of like community development banks, banks that are put there for the community. And that doesn't mean your big banks. I will give you a list of the financial institutions that you should be working with, because technically speaking, they're not really banks when they're community set up by the community, or when they're MDIs. or CDFIs. They're not considered banks really. They are the types of organizations that are specifically there to help minority-owned businesses, women-owned businesses, businesses that will likely struggle to get the help that they need because the system can be biased. We know that lenders, we can be with a bank for 30 years and have perfect credit and they still won't give us a loan sometimes. So the government understands that. You should know that you could get up to $10 million. Some of you will not likely even need that much to keep your employees, but I want you to go for it. We cannot say that we didn't know this time because last time we really did not get the information. When I say we, I don't mean me, I mean our communities, our women-owned businesses or minority-owned businesses. And so I am making a huge effort to make sure that you guys get this information. So you can receive up to 10 million. I will tell you which lenders you will need to work with. You don't have to work with a big bank, and I would suggest that you don't do that. But I'll give you all the details on that January 6th in the live training class. So you need to make sure you can be there. The term is 2 to 5 years, depending on your approval date. Now, that could change. This is also the loan that can be forgiven. So keep that in mind. They are already allowing small businesses to have loan forgiveness on the first PPP loan. And if you've gotten a PPP loan the first time, you can get another one. You can get a second one. So keep in mind the Biden administration will probably put a forgiveness on this. So try not to worry about what's going to happen in the future, even though I would not normally say that to you. I just want you guys to get what you need so that you can get your businesses moving again. Okay? And you have up to a year for them to start your repayment plan. You can also repay it early. It's up to you. But this is great for the minority small business community and women-owned businesses. It's just making sure that this time we will not be left out. So join me next week and make sure that you're ready and make sure that you go and do exactly what you're going to be taught to do next week. You can apply for both programs. I said that already, but I want to reiterate that. You should be prepared to do both. Thank you for listening. Please pass this information along to help other small businesses. Even if you don't have a small business yourself, pass this information to someone that you know. We need to get this information out to our communities all over the country. So pass this along if you know someone that owns a small business and they may need help. Otherwise, I will see you guys on January 6, 2021. Click on the link below to get yourself signed up and hold your seat.